Hello everybody and welcome to the Business Barns webinar with the fabulous Tara Best, who will be telling us all of her marketing hints and tips of how to launch your new diversification project. We have got quite a few people logged in at the moment. We've got a few more registered, so it's up to you, Tara. Would you like to crack on now or would you like to wait a few minutes? It's totally up to you.
Should we get started? I'll just start with a little intro anyway, so nobody will miss out on too much juiciness.
Wonderful. Oh, I should also say I'm Charlie, not Hannah, but I've logged in with the wrong email address. But hello, everybody. And Tara, take it away. Thank you very much.
And my name is I am Tara. So very, very excited to be here this afternoon. I'm Tara Best. I run Tara Punter Coaching. I love helping business owners at all levels create a life and business that truly lights them up and really, really excites them, because I think that's so key in life and business. So I kind of do that through mindset work in terms of helping remove what's holding people back, but then also looking at the marketing and the strategy side, so that people can really believe in themselves and what they're putting out to the world, but then also show up confidently in their business, whether that's online on social media or whether that's offline, whether that's in person, whether that's through magazines, newspapers, shows, trade stands, whatever that is. So today we are going to be looking at how you can launch your diversification project. Now, I'm a farmer's wife, I'm a horse and dog mum, I live on a farm in the Cotswolds, I'm a country girl, and somebody that just loves to combine all of this with the work that I've been doing in my business since about 2016. So I actually went self-employed back in 2015. I managed to talk my way into working as an equine journalist, which I absolutely loved. From there, sort of very gradually and organically ended up doing social media management, and then started doing a little bit more sort of PR and strategic marketing. And it was around 2016 that I was showcasing the results that I was getting for my clients online. So back then, Twitter was flying. It was absolutely the place to be. And I was working on there and on Facebook and sort of showcasing some of the client results that I was getting. And somebody dropped into my inbox and said, "Could you show me how to get those results?" And I said, yes, thinking I'll say yes and figure out how to do it later. And then put together this sort of one-to-one coaching session on how he, as a product-based business, he had dog treats and dog chews, could generate more through Facebook and Twitter completely organically. And I fell in love with coaching back then. So over the past 6 years, I've been coaching business owners to really, really help them, work towards their goals, show up online in a way that really, really suits them, but also help them create the business that they really, really want to, that aligns with their life, what they've got going on. If they're wanting to bring in something as a side hustle alongside running their farm, we can really, really look at what that is for that person. Over that time as well, I have helped so many people either launch new businesses or launch new offers within their businesses. And I've done it myself many times as well. So that's one of the things we're going to be talking about today. Now, my husband and I actually launched and opened our own farm shop in March of this year. Back in 2019 at the Farm Business Innovation Show, I had a stand for my marketing company. I was also doing a talk at the Farm Business Innovation Show over at the NEC, and Si came to watch my talk, and then he had a little walk around. And at this point, we were kind of thinking we wanted to offer our beef to the general public. So we produce grass-fed Aberdeen Angus beef on an M&S contract, and we were just starting to want to do a little bit more. We obviously are both very busy. I had my marketing coaching company. Si has now 100 cows on the farm. He's also got a contracting business. He sells hay, forage to racehorses, dairy farms, all over the place. So lots going on. So when we started thinking about selling our beef direct, we knew that it absolutely had to fit in with our lives. So we had no intention of sitting in a farm shop selling produce. We had no intention of doing boxed beef deliveries. We had no intention of having to sit somewhere or be ferrying things around the country. Like, it just doesn't fit in with our life. And at the Farm Biz show back in 2019, Si saw these amazing vending machines. And he literally came over to me so excited. He said, "You need to come and see these vending machines. this is what we need when we open our farm shop. At that point, we didn't have our own farm. So Si rented pockets of land from all over the place. We rented buildings from one person, we rented some more buildings from somebody else. We lived in an annex at Si's parents' farm. So it was very higgledy-piggledy. So firstly, we needed to find the farm that, you know, we would be able to create this farm shop, and then we had to go through all the planning. Now, we actually are on a Gloucestershire County Council farm in Gloucestershire, and we went through the application process in summer 2020. July 2020, we actually found out that we had the farm that we are now in, and then we had access to all of the buildings immediately, and then we moved into the house in the November 2020. At this point, we had ordered the vending machine, and we thought, right, you know, we could open in a couple of months. Oh no, it took so much longer. We opened a year later than we wanted to. Planning took so long. We had to do change of use and then put in a new entrance so that we had a separate entrance for the farm shop and a separate entrance for the farm. There were so many hurdles, and then our vending machines got stuck in customs. Oh my goodness me, it took so long, but we got here in the end, and we opened in March this year. We had an open day that saw over 400 people come. We had support from so many local businesses, Tetbury, Aldi, so many businesses. And yeah, so today we're going to go through a bit of a plan in terms of how we had so many people at our open day, and actually what we've done to really continue to nurture those relationships, and how to really launch a new diversification project. So
Amazing.
Thank you. So one thing that is really key, I think, to recognise, and I think a lot of people kind of dismiss this, is that when you have a new project, a new business, a new branch of your business, if you're offering something new to an existing business, this is what is called PR gold. So in terms of PR and marketing, with PR being the public relations of your brand, it's how your brand gets out further afield, out into the press, out into the media. Anything new is PR gold. So whenever you have anything new going on in your business, this is such a key time to really leverage how you can get that message, that piece of content, that communication out into the wider audience at no cost. So often when I talk to clients or I talk to my audience about actually being featured in local magazines, local newspaper, on the radio, so often somebody will say to me, but I've paid for advertising before and it doesn't work. So this is where there's a real difference between PR and advertising. PR is you letting a journalist, a writer, an editor know what it is you've got going on, and then it's at their discretion what they write about it. Whereas advertising is you paying to be in a specific magazine. So for the purposes of today, we are very much talking about PR. This is how you can be featured organically. This isn't costing you any money at all, because as a startup, or when you're bringing in another stream to your business, you've got enough cost going on. Like, there won't be a budget to chuck a couple of grand in country living. No. So it really is a key time to really think about how we can kind of leverage the fact that you've got this new stream to your business, you're opening a new business, you've got a new project coming. So we really want to start thinking about what we can kind of share, how we can get this further afield. So initially, you want to start thinking about who the magazines or the newspapers are in your local area. Because that's the thing, I think, with a lot of diversification projects, they are very location specific. We also want to think that actually the people in your local area are going to be really interested in what is going on in the local community. So when I kind of sat down to do this at the end of last year, I was thinking, right, we are in a teeny tiny village outside a little market town. What are the local newspapers or magazines? So our village, Laterton, has one that goes around, I don't know, the 40 houses that there are in the village. There's a village a couple of miles away, it's a slightly bigger village. They've got their own little magazine. There's then the Tetbury Advertiser. So that's for the market town 10 minutes away. And then it's looking at the slightly bigger ones that maybe cover the county. There's Cotswold Life, there's Wilts and Gloss Standard, there's the Wilts and Gloss Gazette. So I made a little brainstorm of all of these local and regional newspapers and magazines. And then your next exercise is to think, okay, well, what is it you want to say? So there are 5 W's you may have heard of before that are key when you're speaking to an editor or a journalist. It's your who, what, when, where, why. Who, what, when, where, why. So you want to pop a paragraph or a couple of paragraphs together, just ticking off those 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, why. When you think about actually creating this little bit of information, or you're thinking about putting a couple of paragraphs together, I want you to start thinking about whether you are actually opening via an open day, or whether you just have "we are open from" as like the subject. If you are already open, or you have an existing farm diversification project and you're actually just introducing a new branch to it, such as, let's say, extending your opening hours, or you're bringing in another arm to that. Maybe you've added hot tubs to the caravan site. Maybe you've got some new glamping pods. Maybe you've added a cafe to your farm shop. Maybe you're adding in a different way of butchery. Maybe you're adding in a different line of products. So if you've never had, I don't know, game before, and you're bringing game in for the first time. So whether you are completely brand new and starting from scratch, or whether you have got an existing diversification project and you're bringing something new, those 5 W's are key. So have a little play with writing some words and just starting to see about what is the special thing that's going to make somebody want to put this in their publication. So the thing to consider here, and I hear this time and time again as well, is so many people will say, but you know, what makes me different? Why is somebody going to want to put my business in the local press? The press, the media, local magazines and newspapers are desperate for content. They need content. They need to know what's going on. So this is your chance to really leverage that and utilize that so that you can get a little bit of coverage in return. Now, do send that out and start to think about when we're going to be sending that out. So at the end of this, I'm going to talk you through the time frame of kind of the things that I did from January, Feb and March this year whilst in this kind of pre-launch process. But one thing to consider is that actually you don't need to throw everything into this one paragraph. If you've got something else that's going to be happening in a month's time or in 2 months' time, you can still send something now. And then when that next thing happens, or the next stage happens in a month or 2, you can send something else. So we sent the first piece of information to the press, which is called a press release, in Feb of this year. We opened in March, and then in April we sent a roundup of the open day out to the same press, and quite a few of them covered both. They covered the pre-opening, so Bennett's Farm Shop is opening on the 26th of March, and afterwards it was like a nice wrap-up piece. So do think that actually you can really break this down. You don't have to wait for like a really big thing to throw everything into it. You can trickle it in. So again, we're just thinking about how we can offer the publications the content and how you can really start to celebrate your business. If you are having an open day, do invite journalists from any of these local publications, whether it's in print, so your magazines and your newspapers, but also those that are actually online. So if you've got any online publications, so in Gloucestershire, we've got Gloucestershire Live. That isn't a print magazine, that's just a news site. So they share news items, they share things that are going on in the community or in the county, they share things like awards, if any companies have won awards, they share events, they share things going on, they share things of interest, they share new things. So do look at those that are print, your magazines and your newspapers, but also those that are online and digital kind of news sites and forums as well. So if you're having an open day, invite them all. Invite all the journalists, invite their photographers, really start thinking on a county and a local level. Because again, these places are really wanting content. They love celebrating newness. New content, new businesses, new streams to your business are so good for them as well, because people are so interested in new things. You might even be starting to think about when you've seen something online that says new deli opens, and you're like, ooh, it's the intrigue in us as humans. We're like, ooh, I wonder what this could be. It really is the intrigue in us. We want to know what's going on. We want to know about that new shop that's half an hour away. You want to know about the new campsite. So it is that intrigue in us. So use that to your advantage in your business. Now, another thing that really, really helps, and this helps from a couple of different approaches, is a Google My Business listing. This is where you have a listing on Google. If you search in Google, Google My Business, it literally talks you through how you can set that up for your business. And the reason that this is really, really good as well is that firstly, it enables you to have a listing on Google Maps. So if somebody drives along this lane, not that many do because it's quite a quiet lane, but if somebody drives along this lane and they're on Google Maps because they're going from the village to, let's say, nearby Westonbirt, they'll drive past and they will see our listing on Google Maps. Similarly, if they're in the area and they're looking for a farm shop in the area, we're more likely to come up because we have a listing on Google Maps. So that comes from having a Google My Business listing. The other way that this works really well is because it enables you to have Google reviews. And what that does is it enables your website to be more present and to be more highly ranking. So it works with your SEO as well. So do set up a Google My Business listing, because then, like I said, Google Maps listing, and then you've got your listing. It will work with your website as well. Now, what I will say, we didn't have our website go live until I think like June this year. So we had been open for 3 months before we had our website go live. I don't think that is a hindrance to your opening or your open day success at all. It's obviously different if you are taking bookings through your website. We weren't, we aren't, we still don't for our farm shop or for pre-orders or anything. But because we had the Google My Business listing from the beginning and we had our Google Maps listing, people still found us on Google even though we didn't have a website. So I do recommend setting up a Google My Business listing. It's honestly, it's so straightforward. I know it probably sounds much more terrifying than it is. I hate technology. I'm not a tech person at all. And I managed to just follow their steps and set it up. And I'm so proud. Didn't get angry, didn't threaten to throw the laptop out the window. It was all good. So that's a really, really kind of good step to be considering when you're thinking about the press. Now, I'm just going to go on to the open day in a second. Are there any questions? I don't know if there's any chat box or anything. Are there any questions or anything, Charlie?
Let me just unmute. At the minute, no. Chat. There we are. If anybody has any questions, I have a chat box here, and we can certainly ask it to Tara.
Fab. I know that there's lots of information. Hopefully, you're scribbling frantically away. I just like to give so many things, so much information. But yeah, any questions, do pop them in the chat. We'll have time at the end as well to go through any questions. So, open day. If you are having an open day and can have an open day, I think it is such a great thing. Again, it's the intrigue in us, as humans. We love to be a little bit nosy. We love to know what's going on, especially in the farming world. We love to go and see what other people are up to on their farms. So again, you can really use that to your advantage. Now, our open day, we ran from 1 p.m. till 5 p.m. We had a chef, so one of my friends is a chef. He was cooking our own burgers all day. We also had a big hamper, so somebody could come and win a hamper of goodies. We had local Audi. They came and put some cars out the front of the farm, and then they came and supported and shared it all over social media and things. So if you're having an open day, start to think about what is going to be the thing to get people there. So the intrigue is a big one. People are so interested to know what's going on when it's something so new in the area, if it's serving the community, really try and see how you can really leverage this for yourselves. Start to think about why start to think about a thing that will encourage somebody to come if they're like, oh, I don't know whether to go to the open day or whether to just go and visit next week. So for us, we put a hamper together. I can't remember the value of the hamper. I want to say it was about £100, full of products. It's our own beef, lots of the products that we sell in the shop. We had some freshly pasteurized milk in there in a little glass bottle. So we had lots of things, and all you had to do to be in with a chance of winning the hamper was make a purchase on the day. So we had one of our friends, Martin, who was in charge of the raffle tickets. So every single purchase, you get a raffle ticket, and then we put it into a bucket and picked the winner at the end of the day. So that was really, really nice to do as well. We also kind of really positioned the open day as a way to really come and try some of the local products. So we had samples on offer. People could then come and ask us questions. We could show them how to use the machine. And it was just such a lovely day. And it was a really nice day for the village as well. Our village is quite small. There's a pub and that's it. We're lucky to have the pub. But there isn't really much in terms of, there's no shop, there's no cafe, there's nothing that really brings the community together other than the pub. So it was really nice actually to see so many people from the village come and like have a coffee, come and have a burger, come and have a catch up, and it was just a bit of a nice social. So do think about that if you are looking to host an open day or to have an open day. And I think even if you've got an existing diversification project already, if you're looking to kind of relaunch, or if you're looking to launch a new stream to that or a new part of that, there's nothing to say you can't do an open day as well. So we're actually going to do another open day in March 2023 as our 1-year anniversary. Again, just to get people out to the farm, let them come see the cows, let them ask questions, let them know a little bit more about us, whilst also celebrating our 1-year birthday. Another thing to consider when it comes to an open day, if you're looking to use an open day as a strategy, is actually invites and flyers. So we had some flyers designed purely for the open day. We put them up in the notice board in the village, and then put them through the letterboxes of lots of lovely houses in the local area and the lovely villages. So again, it's just kind of looking at different ways that we can get this open day in front of more people. So we had sent the piece out to the press. We were putting flyers through the letterboxes of homes in villages around the area, and I was posting a lot on social media as well. So on that open day, really try to make sure, or when you're in the promo phase of the open day, really try to make sure that you are so consistent with the message that you are letting your excitement come through. Like, it's a big thing doing a diversification project. Monumentally huge. I don't know what Si and I used to talk about before we did this. Like, I really have no idea. It is such a big thing, and it's such a big undertaking, and you pour so much blood, sweat and tears into it, and money. So really take people behind the scenes in the run up to the open day. If you're using social media, really start to think about how you can let that excitement come through, how you can let them know some of the challenges or some of the hurdles that you faced so far. You know, take them on that journey. Again, it's the intrigue in us as humans. We like knowing what's going on. We like to know how things have happened. We like to know, oh, so it took you 9 months to get your planning. It's this intrigue in us. We really are very interested people. So start to think about how you can use that to your advantage. From the social media perspective, and I'm only going to touch on social media because we're actually going to do a social media webinar in January, which will be a full how to use social media. But a couple of things to consider in the run up to launching or opening. Firstly, you need to be consistent with the message and the reminders. So often people will pop something on social media once and then just assume that everybody's seen it. And they'll say, yeah, but nobody's got in touch, nobody's replied to the message, nobody's replied to the post, or nobody's, you know, clicked on the link or asked for a flyer or said they want to come. We need to be really consistent with this. We need to be posting about something multiple times for people to even see it, let alone remember it. Now, pre-COVID, somebody needed to see something 7 times to remember it. It's not even to trust it enough to buy, it's to remember it. Now, because we are so online, we've got so much going on, so many people are relying so heavily on social media, that number is at least 25 times. So if somebody needs to see something 25 times on average to even remember you, that's like posting every day for a month, and then they might just remember you. Now, the way that social media works, not every single person who follows you will see every single piece of content that you produce. So again, we've got to really make sure that we are being consistent to increase our chances of people actually seeing what it is we have to offer, of seeing the date of the open day, of seeing the new things that are coming. So we have got to be really, really consistent. Now, when you are thinking about promoting the open day, I think it's really, really nice to actually think about all of the things that you've got going on. So when I was kind of doing the marketing ahead of our open day, I think what was I doing? I posted every single day for 2 weeks before the open day, and every single day was a slightly different type of post. So one day would be introducing Sinai, one day would be introducing our grass-fed beef, one day would be introducing the milk vending machine that's in the shop, one day would be introducing some of the other products, one day would be introducing our brand ethos, one day would be introducing some FAQs or saying some FAQs about the open day, such as parking, shopping, the competition for the hamper. So I was posting daily for 2 weeks ahead of the open day so that people keep hearing about us and the open day. But it wasn't just me every single day saying, come to our open day on Saturday the 26th of March. It's from 1 till 5. Here's our address. Here's how to find us on what 3 words. Because it just gets a bit boring. We have to be consistent. We need to almost feel like we're talking about something far too much, but think about different ways that you can do it. We also want to think about the different ways that people will engage content online. So some people want to read a blog. Some people want to read a social media post. Some people might just want to see videos. They might want to see a little video of the before and after of the work that you've done. So start to think about different ways that you can share your message. And again, we're really going to go into this in the webinar next month. And really start to think about the different things that you've got going on as part of your diversification project. You know, if you're putting in, let's say, a glamping site, show people the view, show people the cute little lane you're on, show people inside the glamping pods, show people the little village that you're in or on the outskirts of, show people the pub or the shop nearby, show people what to expect if you have a welcome hamper or if you've got hot tubs or what the parking's like. You know, really show people these things so that they can really start to feel like they truly know, love and trust your brand and you and what it is you have to offer. So do take people behind the scenes. Do let them know what you've got going on or some of the hurdles that you faced. Do let them know what makes you special as well. So time and time again, I hear people sort of trying to work out what makes them different. And to be honest, that is a question that I hate. What makes you different? I hate that question. How about instead asking yourself, what makes you special? What makes your offering special? What makes your diversification special? What makes your farm special? Is it that it's been in your family for 200 years? Is it that you're first generation farmers? Is it that there's some weird fact about the ground? What are some of these things that makes you and your farm and your diversification special? Because again, you can use that for content. That could be part of the piece that goes out to the press. It could be a little bit of something on your website when you get your website done. It could be a fun fact for your flyers. It could be on your social media. But start to think about what makes what you do special, because I think that's a really nice piece to really start kind of bringing in and considering. So from the social media side then, be mega consistent. And again, like I said, I'll go through the time frame of like when I did everything, when I was doing all the posting at the end of this. But be mega consistent. If you're collaborating in any way with anyone, so if you're having a coffee van come on a Saturday morning every week, if you're having a certain company or a photographer coming to your open day, if you have freshly baked goodies in your farm shop or in your caravan site or anywhere, tag the company. Always, always, always tag the company on social media, because what that will do is it'll hopefully prompt them to share it their end, and it really kind of gives you a little bit more credibility. The fact that you're collaborating with another small business, and again, start to think if that aligns with your brand and your brand ethos. Maybe that's one of the things that makes you special, is that you like collaborating with small, independent, local companies. So do make sure that you're tagging those on social media if they have the social media. Again, I think that worked really, really well for our open day, because I was able to tag the local pub that donated a voucher. There was a salon in Tetbury that donated something. Audi donated somebody to win an Audi car for a weekend, which I thought was an amazing offer. So all of these places I was tagging regularly. My sister's a photographer, so I was tagging her because she'd be coming to take photos on the day. So I was tagging all of these people who just kept sharing the posts onto their own pages. So again, it's another way for you to get your open day, your message seen by more people without you having to be doing more or spending more. So again, we're just trying to get that reach, get that message further out without you having to go down the route of paying for any Facebook ads, paying to be in magazines. No, no, you've got enough costs without those things. Now, my time frame wise, so we opened on the 26th of March this year. We confirmed, I think it was between Christmas and New Year last year, we actually confirmed our opening date. We were told that the vending machine would categorically absolutely be here mid-Feb. So we thought, well, we'll give it a bit of a leeway just in case anything happens. Surprise, surprise, it wasn't here mid-Feb. I think it turned up a week before we opened. So that was a small bit stressful. These things happen. So we knew that we were opening on the 26th of March. Ahead of all of this, we already had a logo, and we knew the farm shop would be called Bennett's Farm Shop because we live at Bennett's Farm. So I set up the social media on the 5th of January, and I just put the logo on there. I said, oh my gosh, we're really excited. We're opening a farm shop on our farm on the 26th of March. It's self-service, it's using high-tech, really easy to use vending machines. It's going to be showcasing our very own grass-fed Aberdeen Angus beef, which is bred, born, raised and grazed by us here at this farm. You see the whole lifespan of the animal. I kind of gave some teasers, gave a little bit of backstory, a little bit about Sinai. So basically just saying, you know, been together for God knows how many years, both went to the Royal Ag College. So, you know, we've always had this desire for more. We've always wanted to be able to offer more, help people, help the local community. And I put that into a nice post. And that post, oh my goodness me, the reach, the comments, the support was absolutely insane. It was huge. So it's a really, really good way to really kick off that social media account, because everybody was suddenly celebrating it. They were just so excited. All of our friends and family were commenting on it. So it was really, really nice and a really good kickoff. I think I did maybe 3 or 4 posts in January. That was it. We didn't really have much to talk about. Husband and I had lots to talk about in the planning process, but from a social media perspective, one thing that is important is that you are able to be consistent. I knew in January we had so much going on behind the scenes, like the painting of the farm shop. I think we did something like 5 or 6 coats. There's only so much you can talk about that on social media. So I knew that I had to be consistent. So I aimed to post once a week, because that is still consistent. February, we started doing a little bit more posts. I think I might have done sort of 2 or 3 a week maximum. And then March started doing even more. And then it was the last 2 weeks before we opened. Like I said, I was posting every single day. So I was doing a daily countdown, introducing the products, what to expect at the open day, the FAQs, things like parking, getting here, samples, letting people know what was going on, letting people know about the farm, about us, about, you know, what we had done to this point to get to this point. Again, I think that kind of 2-week countdown gets the excitement going, it gets the intrigue in us going, And it really makes people start to remember the date, remember the time, remember, oh yes, that thing's coming up. Yes, keep telling people. I was even actually telling people in the posts to put it in their calendar or in their diary, because sometimes we just need that little bit of encouragement or that little reminder to say, put it in your diary. And people are like, okay, and they put it in their diary. So be consistent in those last few weeks. This is probably, if you're anything like us, the time that there's more to do than ever before, where you're trying to do all the last minute bits and pieces, and the vending machine isn't even here, and you're typing saying, come join our open day, assuming the vending machine's here. Like, we genuinely had a plan B in case it didn't come. Luckily it did. We were all good. So that was kind of the time frame and the structure for the social media. That worked well and actually continued to grow quite quickly. And I think since I set up the account in January, I think our Instagram's got just under 1,300. Again, completely organic. I haven't spent a penny on social media, not a penny. I do everything myself. From the press and media side, so it was in Feb that we sent out the launch press release, basically just saying, Bennett's Farm Shop is opening in March 2022. This is what we're doing. We are the only self-service farm shop of this type in our area. There's lots of milk vending machines around here. There's lots of self-service farm shops, but nothing that uses the technology and the vending machines that we use. So that was quite a unique selling point as well. And then that press release that went out in Feb, we also invited journalists to come and join our open day. Some said they couldn't make it, but could they send us some questions because they'd love to put a nice little piece together. Some sent just a photographer and no journalist. But again, it was just getting that initial piece out and then that excitement out there as well. With 2 weeks to go, I had my open day flyer ready and I personally invited pretty much everyone I know, clients for my marketing and coaching business, contacts, friends, family, people I went to uni with many years ago that I knew still lived in the area. We invited people that own local businesses, local pubs. We invited anyone and everyone that we could even think to invite. We went hard with it. We did the flyer drop in the local villages for the open day. And one thing as well that I think worked really well, and again, a lot of people don't do this, is if I had a post on social media that was saying, here's the FAQs. I mean, I didn't call it FAQs because I think that sounds a bit websitey and boring, but here's all you need to know about our open day. I would actually ask my friends and family to share it on their social media. Basic. But again, we're trying to use other people's audiences to get more eyes on what it is we're doing. So if a couple of people share the post, that could generate an extra 1,000, 2,000 eyes on that piece of content, which is huge. So do ask people to do things. Do ask. I mean, I even have to ask my husband to share the Bennett's Farm Shop post sometimes. Like, you think he'd know by now? No, I still have to ask him. So do ask people to share a certain post on social media. And if you're asking people to share a certain post on social media, think of it this way. Let's say you say to me, can I share one of your posts on social media? I'm like, yes, absolutely. And I share it on my Facebook or my Instagram, wherever I share it. If one of my followers or my friends sees it, what do they need to see about you? What do they need to see about you? They need to maybe know what the open day is. They need to maybe know where you are. They need to maybe know what it is you do, what the timings are, if it's free entry, if there's food, if there's a bar. So if you're asking people to share a post, have a little bit of a strategy behind it in terms of what that post is going to say. If somebody sees you for the first time, what do people need to see about you if they're seeing you for the first time? What do they need to see and believe about your business if they're seeing it for the first time? So I think that's quite a key thing to consider. Don't just get people sharing anything willy-nilly. Like, if they do, fine. But if you're asking people to share something, make sure it's something that's really going to give a great first impression and it's going to have a good amount of information on it. So that if somebody sees it, they're like, oh, this farm shop sounds different. This sounds exciting. I'll give that page a like. So it's just little things to kind of consider from that side. Opening week, like I said, daily posting, sharing the excitement, sharing the behind the scenes. People were so interested. We even filmed, I say we, I filmed my husband driving our vending machine, which was tens of thousands of pounds worth, on the forklift, on his tractor, down a slight gradient, and I was filming it, and I thought I almost can't watch because what if it falls off? And I was filming it, I put it on social media, and everybody was loving it. Like, take people behind the scenes if you can. I know there will be lots going on, but if you can take people behind the scenes, again, it just keeps that consistency, it keeps the excitement, it keeps the intrigue, it keeps people wanting to watch. If you've got a tasting for something, so like when we had a company come out who were putting the self-service coffee machine in, and we did a coffee tasting, and we stood in one of the barns, it was chucking it down with hail outside, blowing a hoolie, and we were just stood in one of the barns trying flat whites and lattes and hot chocolates. And again, it was a behind the scenes of the prep of the open day and the prep of the opening. And again, it's something people are just interested in and intrigued by. So generate that curiosity, get people wanting to see more, take them on that journey with you. Such a powerful way to use social media so that we're getting that excitement, we're getting them seeing a bit behind the brand, a bit behind the scenes, and then you can take them on that journey. Like I said, we didn't have our website live when we opened, and it genuinely made no difference at all. I really, really believe that. Obviously, it's different if you're needing to take bookings immediately, but if you don't, honestly, take the pressure off. There's so much to do. There's so many things to consider. And I really hope I'm not overwhelming you with all of my social media plan and things. There's a lot to do. And honestly, if you don't have to have your website live, it can go live when you open, because then you've got another new thing to talk about on your social media. Remember, newness is good. So it's fine if you don't have your website live. Now, we open on Saturday, the 26th of March, as I've said. The shop was meant to be self-service. You know what happens? Sometimes, best plans and all that, things just go wrong. And the card machine in our vending machine would not speak to our vending machine. So we suddenly had some diaries to clear. Luckily, it wasn't silage time, harvesting time, so Si was a little bit more available. We had to sit in our shop for the first 2 weeks and manually process all of the orders. So this was quite an interesting learning for us, because obviously it was brand new, it was so different. We had been in all the newspapers, all the magazines, put flyers through all the doors, like we had done all we could to get as many people there in those first couple of weeks as we possibly could, and then it wouldn't work. So we tried to look at that time firstly and think, well, you know, it's technology, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we really used that time while we were actually taking it in turns to sit in the shop, to actually really speak to people, build relationships, find out what it is they're looking for, find out as well where they saw us. So if they had seen us in a certain magazine and made a 30-minute drive, like, oh, that's interesting. Are they likely to come back? Is that a magazine to continue nurturing and building those relationships with? But it also just gave us a really good opportunity to actually showcase our passion and our expertise and talk about the produce that we're producing. You know, we've got in our farm shop, we've got blackboards, we've got flyers, people don't read them. We've got bits on social media. It seems sometimes people don't read the social media. We've got blogs on our website. People who've been on our website don't read the blogs. You know, we've got so much information there, and sometimes people don't read it. They don't look at what's available. They just turn up, look at the machines, do their thing and go. So that was really interesting for us, actually, in terms of actually having those conversations with people to actually let them know what does make us special, not different, what makes us special, how we want to support the farmers and producers we work with, why we charge what we charge. You know, we get questions about pricing quite a lot. So again, it's just having those conversations and continually building the relationships with people. And I think actually that has worked really well for us. I'm trying to reframe the fact that the technology didn't work for those first 2 weeks, but it was really nice to hear the feedback. And one of the greatest things I think for us in that time was seeing people come in and use this big vending machine. So you walk in and there's these 2 massive white machines with lots of little lockers, and you look at it and you think, oh my God, where do you start? And a couple of slightly older people were a little bit hesitant, and we showed them how to use it. We then encouraged them to use it while we were stood there, and then they got it. And now they come back all the time. So that was a really, really good thing as well, in terms of just helping people feel like we're there, like it's okay. I know this is different, but this is, you know, kind of the future. Let's go with it. But yeah, helping them and being there to answer their questions. So that did work really, really well for us as well. And then after the open day, and in that 2-week lull where I was sat in the farm shop freezing cold because it was so cold in April, I then wrote another piece to send out to the press about the open day. And that was really, really well covered, that piece actually, because we were able to kind of showcase, we had over 400 people attend in a 4-hour window. We had the support of some amazing local companies. We sold out of steaks, which was phenomenal. And it was really well covered. And I think part of the reason that that story was so well covered is because it kind of had a really nice feel-good aspect to it. It was a local community piece. You know, the local press loves celebrating local businesses. And I think because Si and I are quite a young couple, kind of diversifying this part of our farm, it was just really well received. So do be courageous in terms of actually blowing your own trumpet when you put something together to speak to the press. Do celebrate the milestones, do celebrate the successful open day, do celebrate if you're nominated for an award, if you, I don't know, have a best sales day ever, if you have some amazing feedback, like do celebrate these things, whether it's on your social media, whether it's on your website, whether it's in the local press, because it's these sorts of things that would just keep that intrigue coming, and it's those sorts of things that makes you special and will get people wanting to actually come and visit you. So there we go, time frame. And then the webinar that we're doing in January, before we get into questions, is all about using social media for your diversification project. So it will follow on really, really nicely from today. And I'm sure there's a link, Charlie, for people to register for that one. Yeah, there we go. Successfully opening. It was so much fun, so full on, such a big project. Oh my goodness me, so many bits and pieces. But yeah, those are the kind of main things that we did that absolutely made what we did be a raving success on the first day and beyond.
Oh, fantastic. What was your plan B if the machine hadn't have come?
Oh, the anxiety, I can feel it in my body now.
I feel it for you.
Plan B was, we're just going to have to set up a table with loads of products, loads of our beef products, and just manually take payments. So the day before we opened, I went to Screwfix to buy some little card readers because I thought, what if it doesn't work? And thank God I did, because the card machine and the vending machine didn't speak to the vending machine. So we needed the card reader anyway. So Si was in charge of taking everybody's orders, manually doing their payment, and then popping open the locker doors of what those people had ordered to be able to get their products. The other card machine was for the burger van, and I was just restocking the vending machine all afternoon. It was non-stop. So yeah, we had plan B.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and those things happen sometimes, don't they? They're out of your control. It's like, okay, how can we flip this into a good thing? We've got this.
And I suppose as well, having the foresight to step back as well before you open and go, right, what are some major things that could affect our opening, and how can we overcome those if they happen? To have a plan B, because in all fairness to you, I think you know, yeah, I possibly would have thought about it. I like to think I would, but whether in the hot cold light of day, whether it would have actually been, oh, we need a separate card machine, you know, yeah. Maybe sometimes you think, well, no, that it'll be fine, it's brand new, but wow, what a good thing you had the foresight to well prepare.
Yeah, the thing is with our machine, so our machine is Italian, and then we use a card machine from Switzerland, I think it is. So the two didn't speak to each other, and that's just apparently how these machines are. You get the vending machine itself, which is brilliant, and then there's a choice of a couple of different card payment terminals on there, and sometimes they just don't speak to each other. Just speak to each other, do what to do. But the vending machine itself has been amazing, really, really has. Huge investment.
I've seen some photos. Oh yeah, And what we'll do now, at the end of this this webinar, I will send on the link if anybody would like to rewatch it. I'll load it up to YouTube, and I'll also send some photos on, if that's all right with you, Tara, of the setup, because I was on your social media earlier on today, I think it was, and it just, like you say, it kind of is the future. It's really clever. You know, you haven't got to be paying staff. Oh, hello. 2 minutes. Oh, ice days at school. Yeah, you know, like you say, you haven't got to be paying staff. You haven't got to be sat in a cold shed for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But it just opens up the opportunity then for people, if they're coming before work, after work, if they're not sure when they can come, you know, oh heck, it's after 4:30. It's just not following down the traditional route of a farm shop. And that's definitely not necessarily a bad thing, you know. I'm really impressed with it. Fair play to you guys.
Yeah, we aren't restricted on, you know, our Sunday opening hours or bank holiday opening hours. We can open and close whenever we like. We choose to open at 8 AM and close at 6 PM, just because, you know, this is our home, our house is here. We just don't really want to encourage people to be coming here middle of the night. We're on such a quiet lane anyway as well. People don't just pass here. Nobody's ever just passing. So for us, those felt like really, really good times. So that's another thing, I think, another kind of reason that the plan that we've just been through worked, because this isn't a through road. People don't just pass here for no reason. It's one of the roads into our village. It's not a passing road. It's not somewhere that people just drive past on a main road. So we've got to create this as even more of a destination and get people to come here. People don't just pass here on a, you know, on a driving on a Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And to then, you know, we've had a previous webinar, and I know that if you go onto the website, you can see that. And one of the things there was location is such a key thing, and it's fantastic that you've done so much work before you opened, getting people to know about it. Like you say, as soon as people know about it and they have a good experience, they're more than happy to come back, even if it's a 5-10 minute drive or more. But it's just that initial hooking them in. Yeah. You did a wonderful job, fair play, and I do apologise for the children in the background. I think it's our limit now. They've just sort of started getting itchy just as I've turned it off mute, which is typical.
Yeah. But honestly, once you get people coming, especially I think with something like a farm shop or, you know, something like what we do, people will come. Like, we have people travel from 30-45 minutes if they know we've got beef in stock. They'll message me and say, is there definitely a shin of beef in the vending machine? I'm leaving now, I'll be there in 45 minutes. And I'll say, right, I will sit here and keep an eye on the sales on the app. If someone buys one, I'll go out and restock it so that you can definitely get yours. So sometimes people really do kind of send that message, and they're happy to drive because it's an experience at the other end. And I think that's something that's going to be quite big next year as well, is, you know, not just going into a supermarket, but actually having more of an experience. So that does work. And, you know, like you said, if they've had a good experience, they'll tell their friends about it. They'll spread the word. They'll share it on their social media. There was a gentleman a couple of weeks ago, and he said, oh, I've just done a post on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen it. I said, oh, no, I haven't. And he showed me, and he hadn't quite tagged us. So I showed him how to tag. He said, well, I've only got about 6 followers, but if one of them comes and they're a raving fan, then that's good enough for me. I was like, it's like I've taught you myself, apart from how to tag us properly. It was so cute. And I was like, that is so charming. He must have been in his 60s. But I just thought, what about? He loves coming to us for his weekly coffee. And he just sits on the bench and just has a nice time. And he shared it on his Instagram. I was like, oh my God, my heart is full. So cute.
Oh, amazing. Well, everybody, I think, would love customers like that just all the time. That would make everything, that would make the days go by so much easier, wouldn't it?
But the feedback has honestly made it all so worth it. Really has.
Brilliant. Oh, I'm so pleased for you too. So yeah, if anybody's got any questions, by all means, feel free to type them in the little message box. I don't think we've got a way of unmuting you. If you can, by all means, do it, but I don't think we do, I'm afraid. Sorry, I'm a bit new to this technology. But yeah, if you want to just type in the little message box that should be on the right hand side of your screen, then we will see it.
And then if I just say a little bit about January's webinar. So we're going to be looking at Facebook and Instagram. I think those are the two kind of key things. They're the easiest things to get going. So Facebook is really, really good for location specific businesses. And Instagram is really easy for actually getting in front of more people location specific as well, but also by using some really carefully crafted hashtags. So I'm going to be helping you actually create a set of hashtags so that you just put the one set in every single post that you do. Make it super easy. I'll share the exact strategy that I use to get our kind of social media pages growing organically. We're not spending any money on Facebook, not spending any money on Instagram. But yeah, just so that you know what to post, kind of how to post, and how to really make sure that you are using social media as best you can for your business.
Oh, fantastic. I'm already anticipating the hints that I will get from you, Tara. I'll be here with my writing pads. Yeah, I'll be scrolling down like that. But there we are. Well, we've had no questions come through. If you have any, by all means, send them to Tara or I on the social media, or reply to the email, and I'll send them over to Tara. But thank you all very, very much for joining us, really. And Tara, it's been absolutely, well, inspiring, really. And I know that's quite a big word, but in all fairness, you know, like you say, you're on a little lane. I know you're close to a village, but you don't have any through traffic. And I mean, to have 400 people there on your opening day was just brilliant. And I hope you have every success with it.
Thank you. That's so kind. Yeah, honestly, any questions, anything at all, just drop me a message on any of the social media channels. I'm at Tara Punter Coaching.
Wonderful. And now I need to figure out how to turn this off. Thank you, everybody, and we'll hopefully see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.